Good morning once again, and you are watching Our Views. If you missed the first part of Our Views with Sarah, and she's been talking about forgiveness, we are moving on to the second part of Our Views. And this morning we'll be talking about procrastination. Yes, are you living up to those New Year's resolutions, or has procrastination seeped in? Yeah, well, let's look at what procrastination is before we dive into this conversation. And procrastination is the habit of delaying an important task, usually by focusing on less urgent, more enjoyable, and easier activities. Instead, it is different from laziness, which is the unwillingness to act. So, ladies, do you procrastinate? Are you procrastinating at the moment?
Procrastination is a thief of time. That's what my principal used to say in high school. And yeah, I have. It's a habit I am trying to, it's like my toxic trait. It's a habit that I am working through. I am aware of it, and I even tell myself, Sarah, we had this conversation. Yeah. Girl,
at
you're
the
not
beginning
going
of
to
the
be
year.
procrastinated. And you know, why I procrastinate is because I get the thrill from doing things last minute. Like, I think I am my best self, my most creative self when I'm working under, you know, a timeline.
At the 11th hour.
It's just that rush that just goes through. I'm like, yes, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. Like, it's do or die. That's that thrill that is causing to give me this demon of procrastination. But yes, I do procrastinate.
And you, Siobhan?
I do not think so. First of all, the kind of person I am and my character, I really like my things planned. Like I rarely, if on a scale of 1 to 10, you'll find it at about 1.5. The maximum it can go is at 2. So I make sure most of the time everything that I need to do is actually planned out, because I hate being disorganized. Last time we were talking about character personalities, and and the lady said I do not work well under pressure. So the mere fact that I do not work well under pressure means I like to always plan out my day, plan out the things I need to do, so that I do not do them last minute. For me, last minute things really disorganize me.
Oh my goodness, for me, I procrastinate as well. I'm already sitting and like, I can put things off. I'm like, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do, especially when it's something that, when I think about it, it just like gives me stress. I'm like, you know, let me push it. Let me push it a little bit further.
You're like, let me sleep on it.
Let me sleep. Oh my goodness, that's my best. Let me sleep on it. I'm like, just leave. That means leave me alone. We'll talk about this later. So let's see, what type of procrastinator are you? There are 3 types of procrastinators, and you have the delayers. These people have a hard time getting started on any task. They put things off for all kinds of reasons. That's me. Perfectionist. I think this is you, Sarah.
That is definitely.
Those who get bogged down in details. These folks start a task, but they can't finish it because it isn't perfect.
That is me.
That is you. That has Sarah all over it. Then distractible. Those who are too distractible. These people always find something else to do that offers them immediate gratification rather than the satisfaction completing the task would bring. So, Siobhan, you don't fall anywhere here.
I think I actually fall under the perfectionist, because if I have not done something to my best, I will redo it, and I'm just like, why can't this get done? Like, why can't it be done the way I want it to be? In my mind, it makes sense, but when I bring it to paper, it doesn't seem to make sense. I'm like, what's going on here?
But why do you think we procrastinate? What are the underlying issues?
Priorities. I mean, if something is not a priority to you, you will not do it straight away. If, for example, you are meant to go, say, for a job interview, if it's not something that you want to do, like you're not intentional about it, you'll probably say, I'll probably push it and talk to HR and have it maybe later. If, for example, let's take a look at vaccination. Not so many people in Uganda have gotten vaccination. Why? For many of them, it's not a priority. They're like, well, I'm looking at the conspiracy theories and maybe I might get sick or what, but hey, guess what? It's not a priority. If it's probably getting down to moving out of home, like for many people, you decide and say, moving out of home is not really a big deal. I could do it 2 years from now. You procrastinate. Why? Because moving out of home is not a priority. So again, it goes back to priorities. What do you prioritize? Because trust me, if something is a priority in your life, you will make sure you work towards it and make it work somehow.
Why do you procrastinate?
There's me and then there's other people. But you know, some of the reasons are, number one, laziness. You're just not up to it in the moment. You're lazy, you don't want to get it done. It's like, it can't wait. You know, it can't wait. Let me sleep on it. Yes. Other people, it could be an issue, like for instance, me. I love the rush that comes with working with deadlines or working on time. Like in that time, it's when I just get into like work mode, and I'm like, I feel like such a superhuman person, and everything is so clear. I like to get it like done this way, that way, and very fast. Some people get a rush over doing things under pressure because that is when they work well. I'm personally like that. Another reason, it could be because what they say, laziness, under pressure, and other people, it's because they're distracted. They've been distracted by something else. For instance, could be, oh, Sarah, there's a meeting. We're going to have a meeting at 2 p.m. And then like, now you turn on your phone and now you're watching TikTok. And you'll be like, hold on, let me, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to be late. I apologize. Now you're distracted by something else. You know, something else has come and has taken your attention.
These are the distractables.
Exactly, from the task at hand.
Yeah. I think that is quite true, and there are a number of reasons, just like Shivan and Sarah said, there are a number of reasons, and it's like having uncertain goals. When you don't know exactly what you want to do, then you're kind of, it's a bit hazy, so you end up just dragging your feet around and taking so much time and feeling overwhelmed as well. Now for me, this really happens to me. I think of a task, then I think of it as a whole, then I get overwhelmed. And I've learned to work through this by taking it one day at a time, just doing what I can do, and then before I know it, like I'm completing the task. So this has really worked for me. Experiencing difficulty concentrating, yes. Holding on to negative beliefs, I can't do this. There's no way I can do this, So it ends up crippling you, and then you just procrastinate. And experiencing personal problems, of course, as well, because you're distracted, like you said, Sarah. There are other things in the mix. So your mind is not completely there, and becoming or being easily bored. Yeah, some people just do something, they're really excited about it, then they're like halfway through, they don't want to do it anymore. Setting unrealistic goals. This is quite important. I think when we set goals, we should be very realistic. Otherwise, you just feel like you're on a wild goose chase, and then you just end up giving up, putting up the tools and sitting down. But being afraid of failure. Now, I struggle with this as well. Like, am I going to fail? Maybe I'm going to fail. And making excuses as well. This is also another thing. And would like to know, like, why do people fall in this rut? Why do people fall in this procrastination rut? And what can they do about it? Just watch this video coming up. Well, stress is one factor that really leads us to procrastinate. When we think about the task at hand, we just go on to avoid. But as she said, the secret is just to getting started. Once you get started, then you can move on and get to do this task. So what have been your consequences of procrastinating? Did you like miss an exam or fail an exam or what?
So there's this one time I was asked to make meat samosas at home, and the process, trust me, is tedious. Anyway, it's, especially if you're making like 20 plus, it's really hectic because you have to first cook the minced meat, then you put in the onions, and then have the garlic in, then make the pockets for the samosas, then deep fry. Oh my gosh. So this one time I did the minced meat and I did the pockets, and then I went to sleep. Like, I did not realize it was so late. You know that sleep of during the day that starts at about, because I slept at about 4. I woke up at 8. I do not know if I had taken a sleeping pill, but I woke up at 8. The pockets had turned crunchy. The minced meat just looked terrible, and I just did not know what to do. And then there's this one time I actually missed a paper at UCU. I had an exam, and I was like, you know how you can have the alarm go on So I snoozed it, and I knew it would ring after 10 minutes. It did not. You know that thing of when you wake up and you go back to sleep, let me tell you, that's a danger. I slept and woke up when the exam was done. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I've had my own share of consequences of procrastinating something.
Well, for some people, procrastination is more than a bad habit. It's a sign of a serious underlying health issue. For example, ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety and depression are associated with procrastination. That's why people don't want to do what they want to, because they're depressed and then they get anxious. And also research suggests that procrastination can be a cause of serious stress and illness. So if you suffer from chronic or debilitating procrastination, one of these conditions could be to blame, and you should seek the advice of a trained professional. Procrastination can restrict your potential and undermine your career. Yes, it can also disrupt teamwork, reduce morale, and even lead to depression and job loss. This is what Sarah said. So it's crucial to take proactive steps to prevent it. And how do we prevent procrastinations? Realize that progress is better than perfection. Yeah. And recognize your fear. What is your fear? What exactly are you fearing? Are you fearing to fail? This is one.
Are you fearing to be criticized?
Yes, exactly. So identify the fear or the obstacle. Discipline yourself to work on achieving. Yes, achieve. You know, this is like me. I just think of the task as a whole. Then you get overwhelmed. So even if you don't get to the finish line, at least you'd have accomplished something, and you pick a leaf or two from your experience, what you have done. So you should focus on achieving. Attack the goal in short time intervals or small portions of the task, one day at a time, as I said, and include breaks, being specific. Think positively, refer to the to-do list. To-do list really helps me out. So I get to tick what I'm doing, like through the month, what I'm supposed to do. And Sarah is very good at this, her vision board and what she's doing step by step. This really helps. Reward yourself when you've finished a task. Eliminate distractions. Don't go on TikTok and start binging instead of doing what you're supposed to do. Better utilize small amounts of time. List pros and cons, and practice relaxation skills. Now, these are the many ways that you can deal with procrastination. And we asked our viewers if they were, you know, seizing their opportunities or procrastinating, and they had quite a bit to say. Essential Worker said, 2022 refused already, only planning for 2023, but we are barely through January. Huh? So I think just go and start all over again, because the year is just beginning. Essential Worker. And then Satam says, everything is starting to look up, one day at a time. Well, this is very, very encouraging, I must say. Well, that is all we had on our views part 2, but we would love to hear your views on this. So please head on down to our social media pages at CTV Uganda, and don't forget to use the hashtag CTV Sunrise. Just before we go, I'd like Sarah to give a parting shot to people who are battling with procrastination. Sarah.
Listen, if you are struggling with, if you are a procrastinator because you're dealing with things like low self-esteem, or you're depressed, or you have fears of failure, I just want you to live by this quote, and it's a quote that I live by. Your fear of looking stupid is wasting a lot of time. What is the worst that could happen? They'll say no, perhaps. But then you move on. You cannot be afraid of failure. You cannot be afraid of rejection. And I think that is why many people actually deal with procrastination. So your fear of looking stupid is a waste of time. Don't be afraid. Shut your eyes, close your ears to everything else, and do what you have to do.
Well, you had that from Sarah, and that's all we had for you on our views part 2. But don't go away, because Sarah will be back with parting shots. Don't blink.
Thank you for keeping it locked right here on Sunrise at Sea on CTV. We had a wonderful time with you on the show today, and especially our views. We had some really deep conversations and, briefly tackled some underlying issues in all our lives, like, for instance, forgiveness. and healing. It's very important to, you know, heal, identify what your problem is and heal from it and find the best way to move forward the best way you know how. If procrastination is your issue, find out why you procrastinate. Forgive yourself, all right? And then find the best way that you can move forward without it affecting your day-to-day life, your relationships, your work, and everything else that it is that you want to accomplish with your lives. Well, from the ladies and I, have a blessed day. Don't forget to follow SOPs, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands with soap and water, sanitize, and most importantly, don't forget to be kind to yourself especially. All right, until tomorrow, same time, same place, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Have a great day.